Hi, everybody. I am Blake Cabot, and that would be Tiffany Beckler if she was in the screen, but she's not. She's coming back, I hope. I am the owner of FacePaintcom, and Tiffany, you might want to come back.
Oh, hi.
That was funny.
I'm here.
Good thing. So I met Tiffany initially when she was marketing her own face paint a while ago, and we got back in touch because I saw that she had a safety course, and I thought that might be interesting for the group. So this is obviously a unique time where we're all worried about safety and cosmetic safety, which is something that wasn't, it was always a concern for parents in general, but it's become obviously much more so. So Tiffany has a, what, 5-hour course, something like that?
It's a 4-hour course. It's a little over like 3 hours and 30 minutes. So I just say it's a 4-hour course, but
that's
yeah.
a 4-hour course. Let's just call it 4 hours. So she's going to give us some tips and some things that she found out. Tiffany's as a cosmetologist, and she has a degree in this, so I think she's worth listening to. So with that said, Tiffany, take it away.
All right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? I don't know who all is out there because I can't see everyone. But like he said, I am a cosmetologist. I work in North Carolina. I have also been a face and body painter since I was 16. So that's about over 15 years now. And I also was a tattoo artist for 4 years. So that means that I had to deal with bloodborne pathogens and, cross-contamination and everything like that. And I've had to get approved and certified and all that kind of stuff, not just in the beautification of doing hair, makeup, nails, and skincare, but also the sanitary and healthy concerns that are related to that as well. So today what I wanted to go over was I wanted to go over the difference between cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization, because I believe that a lot of people get that mixed up. And I don't think that you can properly kill the germs and the COVID-19 and everything that's involved with that until you understand what steps to be able to do with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over, on my class that I have, I use this board. Okay, on this side, it's cleaning. This one is disinfection, and this one is sterilization.
Okay.
When you're cleaning, okay, you can clean non-porous items or porous items. It is the first line of defense in killing germs. And it's like a mechanical process of scrubbing your materials. So if you're properly cleaning something, you want to go ahead and have the soap on whatever you're cleaning, and you want to go ahead and really get those bubbles sudded up, okay? Now, if you're doing disinfection right here, you want to make sure that you're cleaning before you're disinfecting. If you are trying to disinfect without cleaning first, then you're not actually disinfecting, you're actually just cleaning. Huh. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
I mean, it seems like it would. So when you're disinfecting, you can only disinfect non-porous material. So I see a lot of people have, mix-ups with, they'll say they disinfected their brushes. You can't disinfect fully a brush. It's not possible because the hairs on your brush are porous. You can only clean a brush. But with this, the handle is plastic. I can disinfect the handle. I can't disinfect the bristles. Also, you can't disinfect your sponges. You can only clean your sponges.
Okay, so what can you can only you only can clean your sponges and your brushes, but you can't disinfect them?
No, because they're porous.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the biggest difference between disinfection and cleaning. Is with disinfection, you can do non-porous things, but you can't do porous things. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up.
Right, I think I do too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very common habit of people saying, oh, I disinfected my brushes, or, oh, I just disinfected my sponges the other day, but you can't disinfect it. And that's the second line of defense when you're cleaning, is you have a solution, or you have, maybe a UVC light, different things you can disinfect with. And you can either spray down a surface to disinfect it, or you can immerse the product within the disinfection solution. So what I suggest when you're disinfecting is you could use bleach, or you could use barbicide. Barbicide is something that you use for cosmetologists, and it's actually a disinfecting solution. And the reason why I recommend that over other disinfecting solutions is because barbicide was actually created for the cosmetologist, or that kind of industry. And they're dealing with the germs and bacteria that's already on skin, versus a disinfectant used for, cleaning floors, or disinfectant used for cleaning windows, those
What about UV boxes? Darcy's using a UV box.
Okay, so UV lights don't necessarily work. You see them a lot whenever you see them all over Amazon, all over everything. Okay, the only UV light that works is a UVC light. Okay, and there's like UVA, UVB, and UVC, and those are just the wavelengths that the UV light is traveling from. Okay, and whenever you have those UV rays, the UVC light is actually really dangerous for people's skin. So you can get burns from having UVC light. Now, the boxes that you see that have the UV lights inside of them, they do kill some germs. I'm not gonna lie, they do. The wands that you see that you can put over top of different things, they're not gonna kill as many germs and bacteria as you're gonna have if you have a light box. And you have to think, the only thing that gets disinfected in that light box is what touches that light. If you have a dark area, it's not going to get disinfected at all. Okay. So I recommend using a cleaning solution, like a spray that has, like a water-based spray that has a disinfectant in it, like a bleach solution or barbicide or something else.
You said barbicide. I've never heard of that. So just excuse my ignorance, but where do you get barbicides and that kind of thing?
You can actually go to Sally's Beauty Supply or most professional beauty supply stores. You don't, like at Sally's Beauty Supply, you don't have to be a professional only to actually go there, and they sell barbicide there. And they also sell cervicide as well, and that's also a broad range disinfectant as well.
What's the other one you said?
Cervicide, I think.
Cervicide?
Yeah, like CEVI side, yeah. But if you go there, it's a broad range disinfectant. And if you want to know all the disinfectants, you can go to the EPA's website, and they have a list of disinfectants that have been certified by the EPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me find cervicide on Sally's. Obviously, we don't sell that because never got around to that.
I mean, it's like I think because people are focusing more on the cleanliness and the hygienic of everything, they're more aware of what they should be using, and they're not quite sure what's good to use and what's bad to use, and they also sell wipes as well. Whenever you're using
Andrea says you're only allowed to buy one at Sally's at a time.
Right now, yes. And the reason why you can only buy one at Sally's at a time is because of the COVID-19, because the barbicide has actually been recommended for killing the COVID. Now, nothing on the entire market has been certified to kill the COVID-19. However, COVID is a virus that there's many different strains of, and the COVID-19 is only one of those strains. But they did test it on other COVID strains, and they found out that the barbicide killed COVID. So that's why you can only buy one at a time, is because it has been proven to kill the COVID virus.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So someone mentioned, one question was, does barbicide disinfect brushes?
No. I don't recommend putting barbicide or your brushes in barbicide. And the reason is because it will break down the bristles over time. And I'm going to go over how you can clean your brushes. You can't disinfect brushes. That's like for one that I said earlier. You can only clean brushes. And cleaning it, don't think that cleaning is just like, you know, wham bam, thank you ma'am. You can have different variations of cleaning that are very close to disinfection. So you might not get complete 100% disinfection like you would normally with a non-porous, you know, surface, but you will get pretty darn close to it.
Okay. Okay. So show us, let's see, what was one more question? Should we wipe children's faces with barbicide wipes?
No, barbicide is only for surfaces. So when you use barbicide is when you are going in between of each child, like you left one and they left and you need to wipe down your surface, you could always spray down your surface with barbicide and wipe it clean so that you're preparing for the next client. So I will go over, you know, generally what you would do. And as far as sterilization, for face and body painters, you're not going to sterilize anything. That's not, when people say, you know, I sterilize my brushes, you can't sterilize brushes. You can either sterilize with a chemiclave, which is basically they put a formaldehyde solution in a chemical press and it kills the germs that way, or you could do it with an autoclave. And an autoclave is a machine that you put water in and it creates a really, really high heat temperature where bacteria can't survive. You can't sterilize brushes or your materials or sponges. The highest that you're usually going to get for a face and body painter are disinfection, cleaning and disinfection. So don't think that's anything bad to clean or disinfect. So I'm going to go over different ways that you can actually keep your area clean between clients. Okay. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. It's a horrible saying, but there is. So
it's hard for the cat.
Yeah, totally. So this is my kit. And what I did was I took metal and I put vinyl on top of the metal and I pressed it down. Now the vinyl is non-porous. So I could actually take my paints off of here and spray it down with a barbicide solution and wipe it clean after it's sit on there for a while. And you have to think, generally bleach or barbicide has to stay on a surface for 10 minutes to clean a product. Now the wipes can stay on there for 2 minutes, and that kill time is very important to make sure that you kill all the germs. Okay. If you are going over your kit and you want to try to kill some of the bacteria within your paints, again, paint is porous. You're not going to kill all the bacteria. But if you do want to get rid of some of the bacteria, let's say that you cross-contaminated and you made a little boo-boo, which is very possible, what you would do is, let's say you have this, is you want to get 70% alcohol. Okay. Spray it on there. Make sure that surface is wet, nice and wet. Leave it there for 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes is that kill time for the 70% alcohol. Okay. 91 or 99% alcohol actually evaporates too fast to be able to kill what you need. And also bacteria loves water, and you kind of trick it into having the outside of the cell break open so that it can actually penetrate and kill that bacteria. It's kind of scientific-y, but that's kind of how it is. Now,
so you spray down all your paints with the alcohol?
You can spray down your paints with alcohol, leave it on there for about 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes is done, you can wipe out the top portion of the paint. So it hasn't been 5 minutes for this quite yet, but I have a paper towel and you just want to wipe it out and get all of that alcohol that you had off. And then you can put it back in your kit. Okay. When the paints are created, the water-based paints, A lot of them actually have a product in it that kills the bacteria. Also, bacteria, they can't live in something if it doesn't have water to feed off of. That's the main thing about bacteria, is that you need water to feed bacteria. If you don't have water in your kit or around your kit, then that bacteria is not going to be fed. You might have spores, which you could still kill partially with the 90% alcohol, but you're not going to 100% get it out all the way. So that's why not cross-contaminating your kit is really important. Another thing that I did with my kit for the back, and this might be something that somebody else wants to really think about, is I actually took black Flex Seal. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Flex Seal commercials where the guy's like, I painted this chicken wire and then now it's a boat. Okay. So Flex Seal is made to keep water out. Okay. But what it also does is it creates a surface that is not porous quite the same way as, you know, what naturally came in here was the foam. So it has foam in here, but I painted Flex Seal behind because I wanted something that wasn't porous. So if I wanted to clean this down, I could easily clean it down. Another thing that I would recommend for people's kits, if they have
someone asked if silica gel packets in your kit help with moisture.
It does, but I mean, for face painting, it's really not necessary. I don't think it's necessary. Just, you know, leave your paint out. If you did want to do something, I would say get like a humidifier. What is it? Not a humidifier, dehumidifier. What do you call them? They dry out food. Gosh, what do you call them? But you put the jerky in there or whatever people want to dry out. You could use that for your kit, but it's not really necessary. Like, it's just not dehydrator.
That's it. Dehydrator. Nicely done.
There you go.
Here's the link to Flex Seal, by the way, for anybody that wants that.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that to keep your the inside of your kit, if you have more like a spongy material inside of your kit, you could actually Flex Seal the inside of your kit and make it so that you could easily, like, you know, spray it down and then, you know, wipe it clean later on if you wanted to. Okay? All right. So that's part of your kit that you can do if you want to do that. With your kit as well, what's a good idea to have is to have one with a closed lid. Like mine has a closed lid right here. Okay, so let's say you have a child and they're coming over and they're sitting. One thing that you can do is you can face that child away from your kit, create a barrier between that child and your kit. So you could have your kit right here and then have that kid facing away from it. That way, if the kid doesn't have a mask, which, you know, a lot of kids, they don't want to keep them on, then you can have them faced away. Another thing that I would recommend is not painting the face, at least for right now, until they say it's okay. I did read on someone else's that they said that they would recommend painting the forehead, which is fine if they have a mask, because the mask actually keeps a lot of that, you know, whatever they might be coughing up inside of that area contained. So, you know, paint the forehead if you want. I would recommend painting the arm and, you know, the fingers, the hands, anything like that they would want. Even back portion, some of the teenagers, they like to get a little back art right here. I would paint that area before I would paint the face.
You know, I was talking to Jacqueline Ho. She taught a class a couple days ago, and she's watching this, so hopefully I pronounced her name correctly. She said that she did a thing, and none of the kids were wearing masks, but she was wearing a mask. Okay. So it's just, you know, you got to go with whatever the parents tell you. You're going with the
what? Even if you wear a mask, you're still practicing universal precautions for everyone. So as long as you treat everyone the same whenever you go about doing the service, then at least you're trying to do what you need to do in order to keep people clean, because you can't be responsible for other people. As much as you want to be, you can't. The whole reason why I'm showing you this is so that you can take personal responsibility to do what you need to do.
Olga wanted to know about Cinema Secrets makeup sanitizer spray. I think Beauty So Clean has something like this. Maron has something like this. What is your feelings about those kind of sanitizer sprays?
A lot of the sanitizer sprays have 70% alcohol in them. Some of them also have mineral spirits. You want to look at the back of the container for the ingredient list. If it does have something like alcohol and water and that's all, I would say that it's pretty safe. Some of them have fragrances in them. And just to let you know, if you're going to use something with fragrances, fragrances are the #1 allergy that people have. So you want to be very aware of the different fragrances that you're going to use on people. But also you don't want to wash, try to disinfect your brushes and then it has mineral spirits. The reason why Cinema Secrets is sold is because those mineral spirits actually break down lipstick and silicone products and eyeshadows and mascaras. You're not using that kind of product. Okay, so it will clean. So don't think that it won't clean. But do I recommend it necessarily for children? No, because some of them have the mineral spirits in it. So you really, I can't say specifically each brand until I read the ingredients in it, and that's where really reading the ingredients is important. But I would personally read the back of the ingredients and see what the ingredients are first before you want to put it on kids' faces. Because just because it says Cinema Secrets brush cleanser, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that you should clean in between of each child. Just because, like I said, that product is made for cosmetics that are kind of sticky. So it needs that mineral spirits. But generally what you would do with that product is you would clean the sticky lipstick or clean the eyeshadow or the silicone product off of your brush first with it, and then you'll go in and shampoo your brushes. That would be the more proper way to use it. So back to the child. If you're going to
back to the child.
Yes. If you have a child sitting here, you want them sitting away from your kit. Okay. You can ask them what they want. I would recommend you already have a sheet set up that has different faces on it and already have that pre-planned. And when I say pre-planned, I would say, go ahead and make sure that that, you're going to use 2 brushes, 2 sponges, and whatever those designs are, that that's what you have. So you ask them what they want. They say, I want the butterfly. You have a 1 stroke that has 5 colors in it, but you can use 1 sponge. So you would have that. Now, what I would do first, if they want like a rainbow butterfly, is I would get a paper towel and I would spray the paper towel, okay? And then I would clean their arm. The CDC actually recommends cleaning their arm for 20 seconds with soap. So what this is basically I filled it about that much with soap down below, and then the rest I filled with water. Okay, as long as you have a good bubble, it's going to be doing its job. So I labeled my container, says soapy water. You could also get a packaged wipe per child if you wanted to, but this to me is a cheaper version to just have
cheap
a paper
is good
towel.
right now. That's not
right?
instant. Yeah, that's the thing.
So you want to go ahead and cleanse their skin. And I always say, if you're going to cleanse their skin for 20 seconds, then you could have a song that you sing with the kids. So you could sing happy birthday 2 times if it's their birthday. Okay. Or you could sing ABC song. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I've heard that one.
K, K. I know, right? It's a very popular song. So you want to go ahead and clean the area. Okay. And then I have some water and I'm just going to spritz it down with some water and then get like 1 more paper towel. And there you go. You prepped that kid's skin. So you have that prepped. All right. It's ready to get painted. Now, if you have a lid, what I would recommend is once they tell you what they want, you can go ahead and get out the colors that you want. So, I have these 2 colors. That's what we're using. Then we can close our kit. Okay. That's why it's really nice to have a kit with a top on it, because you get out what you need per kid just momentarily, and then you close it. That way, if something does happen, that kid happens to have a virus or anything like that, and they turn around and they start coughing, they're not coughing all in your kit. So that's super awesome to have a lid that you can close, you know, and have like a little table nearby that you can just put a few colors on there just to make sure that you have those. Okay. So I'm going to go in.
Patty, I am not going to sing this. I want to say that for the record.
Oh, they want you to sing the happy birthday song? Now, there's different ways that you can do this. Okay. You can have like a few brushes that you use all the time. Okay. And I know that a lot of people, they don't have the money to buy tons and tons of brushes. In a perfect world, it would be better if you had a lot of brushes, because you could actually get through people a lot faster and then clean everything once you get home. If you do not have that, what I recommend is 3 containers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know that they're doing this a lot in Canada, because Canada has more things that they want face painters and body painters to do versus the United States. Okay. So you're going to have one, and that's going to have water in it. And you can label this however you want. So I'm going to have water in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2, I'm going to have alcohol. And this is going to be 70%. Because like I said, 91 or 99% is not going to disinfect.
And this is just isopropyl alcohol that you get if you could get it in a grocery store, you could get it? Yes,
this is rubbing alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to switch this around just so it has a little bit more stability. Because it doesn't right now.
I'm actually really tempted to sing after the ABC thing.
I'm telling you, it's a good thing. Makes people happy. Okay, and the third one is going to have water in it again.
Darcy had a question about temperature sterilizer boxes, as they are not practical because your brushes will melt or fibers from the brush will catch on fire. Is that true? So high temperature sterilizer boxes?
I mean, it is very possible, but is she talking about the UV lights? I mean,
no, I think she's talking about high temperature ones. So not UV.
She's talking about the autoclaves. The autoclaves have water in them, and they can actually ruin your brushes, because your brushes have it has glue on the inside, and that glue can actually be broken up by that. Okay.
Right.
Will it catch your brush on fire? It might melt the plastic if you're using a plastic one. It's gonna do a business, because those things get really, really hot. Like, and there's tons of pressure that's involved in an autoclave. So I believe that they can get up to like 500 degrees with water. So they get super duper hot. I don't recommend that at all.
Okay.
So for the brush one,
Catherine asked about UV lights. We answered that earlier. They sort of help, but well, you answered better. It didn't sound like that was the end all be all. Yeah.
So I know that, the UV light companies have really focused on saying that they kill germs. I think you can actually go to, I think Heather Green's page, and she was doing a thing where she was testing how UV lights clean versus a disinfectant that I think she's selling. That was a very, very good video to show how UV lights actually work. I can't remember the actual name of the video, but what she did actually stands true to UV lights. UV lights will only kill what the light gets in contact with. And also only the UVC lights will work. So a lot of times they'll sell UV light boxes, but they will not be UVC light boxes. Therefore, they're not really going to kill as much bacteria as if you use a disinfectant.
Another question was, what are mineral spirits? I actually don't know the answer to that one either.
Oh, mineral spirits? Mineral spirits are used for people that do oil painting or any kind of like painting on walls. And what it does is it actually is a solvent that breaks down that that chemical, and it can make the paint runnier or smoother depending on how you, if it's too thick, you could put it in there. It makes it a little bit more runny. But they put a lot of mineral spirits in products. It has a lot of fumes to it. It's not good for the skin, but like I said, it does clean silicone and lipstick products off of brushes. So it's a very strong chemical. I don't recommend it for face painting stuff. Like I said, good for cleaning as like a number one step for cleaning whenever you're done at home and you need to get that pigment out of your brushes, but it's not really necessary for face and body painters.
Okay. Well, now we're back to the kid. So we got a kid. We've wiped off his skin with soap and water. We put a little water on it, and we dry it off. He's good to go. We got our paints out. We closed our case. Now here we are.
Okay, so this is going to be already set up prior to doing it. And so you're going to put a little bit of water in here. You're going to have a little bit of water, number 3. And then you can actually take a little bit of 70% alcohol and put it in this one. Okay. So we're going to put these aside. So I'm going to put them up here. All right. So you want to get your brushes and get a water bottle. Okay. And you can spray your brush. This is going to be a clean brush. And you can spray your palette or whatever color you're using, okay, and go back and forth. Make sure that you load that brush enough that you can do the full design that you already looked at in one way without having to change brushes.
Well, this is why God created one strokes.
Yes, one strokes are awesome. So, you might want to do like little flowers or butterflies. I mean,
the world's your oyster.
Yeah, you can go a long way with this.
Now, if should we talk about sponges at this point, or should we hold that up?
Hold that up. I'm going to go through every little thing.
Okay.
So once you have that, and remember, we're going back to that water. Okay. What you want to do, if you only have a few brushes that you can work with, okay, is you want to rinse the majority off of this one brush. Okay. So get as much paint as you can. This is your cleaning station. Okay. So you're cleaning. Now 70% alcohol is pretty darn close to what you're going to get if you can disinfect brushes. Again, you're not going to be able to disinfect completely, but you're going to be able to disinfect as close to possible. So you can rub it around in there, and then you can have it sit in there for a while and get it really nice. Okay. And then once you do that, you can go into the other water just to rinse off the 70% alcohol and then go back into your brush or go back into your paint.
Right.
Okay. So you can do it that way and then switch these in between of each client. So after you're done with one client, throw out the water. And then once you throw out the water, you can also, if you wanted to spray your brush with the 70% alcohol instead of having a bin, which might be easier for you, make sure you get it really, really nice and saturated, and then go in there and then go into the water and do it that way. And
you have to throw out the alcohol every time?
Yes, just throw out everything because then you're just keeping everything nice and clean. Okay. And then once you throw it out, once you get rid of it, you can then go in there with a disinfectant and disinfect the inside of your brushes or inside of your cups each time. Okay. So that's one way that you can do it. That doesn't mean that you have to do it this way. There's another way that I can show you as well. If you have several brushes, like tons of brushes, and I really like this way, I think it's good. What you can do is you can make a pre-packaged container. This is just a regular Ziploc. Okay. Make a ton of these. Let's say if you are at a festival and you have, you can paint 80 kids in some amount of hours. Okay. Make 80 of these with 80 brushes in them, which sounds like a lot, but if you have enough brushes to do that, then you can do it this way. Okay.
And we sell brushes on FacePaintcom should you need them.
Yeah. So what I put in this one is I put in 2 clean sponges. So I have those. So this pack is for 1 person. Okay. You're only going to use it for that 1 person. I have 2 sponges. I already got those so that I knew that that person probably wanted something with sponges because that's what my design board said. Okay. And I got 2 brushes in here because again, I created a design board that would get me to have these. And this is my, 2 popular brushes. This is like a pointer round brush,
Right.
and also a flat 3/4 brush.
Right.
And what I also did is I picked the ones that had plastic handles because plastic handles you can actually disinfect. The ones with wooden handles, you can't disinfect them. But like I said, you could get that Flex Seal, paint the Flex Seal on the brush handle, and then you have something that you can actually clean really, really nice. So if you have wooden, now like wooden is porous, so you can't disinfect porous things. But like I said, if you make a water resistant barrier between the wood and the outside, then you can disinfect the outside of the handle for the wooden ones.
Now, Rachel asked the question, could you make the first bin soap and water, or would that make any difference at that point?
I would still make the first bin water, and then I could make the second bin soap and water, and then make the third bin water again. So you could also do, if you didn't want to do a 70% alcohol, you could also do water and then soapy water and then water as well. You could do it that way. So those are 2 ways that you could do it, is put the soapy water in there too, because you're still cleaning your brushes. And that's like the main point, is you want to clean your brushes in between.
Interesting. So any pros and cons to soapy water versus alcohol?
Alcohol.
I can see the con is alcohol is more expensive than soapy water.
Alcohol will dry out your brushes for sure. Yeah, alcohol is a little bit more expensive, but alcohol is a little bit broader because it can be a disinfectant as well. Does that make sense? But not all soaps are disinfectants. Alcohol can clean and disinfect. So you could do the cleaning solution with the water. That's why I said with the 70% alcohol, you're getting really close to disinfecting. You're not going to actually disinfect. You're still cleaning, but you're getting really close to disinfecting because alcohol is one of the things that they use in disinfectants to kill germs and bacteria.
And another question came in from Olga. She wanted to know what kind of soap should you use? Dove, hand soap?
It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I would recommend a soap that it could be like an antimicrobial soap that has, lots of spectrums in what it kills. It doesn't necessarily need to be. It could be pretty much any kind of soap. But again, I would recommend a soap that doesn't have any fragrance in it, or at least artificial fragrances, because again, people have more of an allergy to fragrances than they do other things.
Brandy asked, what if you take those small disposable cups to clean and then throw them out?
You could, but that's just a lot of waste, and you want to think about being kind of environmentally friendly as well. I mean, like, you could do that. It's completely up to you. I like to be you're not going to be 100% environmentally friendly when you do anything, because we're humans and we have a footprint. But I mean, I would say just, use things you can clean out and disinfect, because
but I mean, there's no, other than the fact that you're throwing away a bunch of plastic small cups.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe if it was like a paper cup, like the waxy paper cups that you use to like swish Listerine, that might leave less of a footprint because those are biodegradable. But if they're just plastic cups, I would say kind of stay away from those, just because you are putting a lot of trash into the environment. I like things that are non-porous that I can clean if I can. So,
Brandy asked the question about Barbasol solutions. Barbasol solutions aren't for brushes. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, they're not.
They're cleaning surfaces, Brandy.
Yes.
I learned that in this session, so don't think I'm trying to sound smart. I'm not. Yeah. Tiffany's the smart one. She explained that to me earlier. So let's talk about sponges, because that's good for brushes. But now if I was if I was working on it, so I've got my 3 containers and I want to do a sponge because I got to lay down a base for a princess design.
Yeah, you want to do a base. So
Yeah.
what you would do is you want to get your sponge, okay? Again, your water bottle, make sure they're labeled. Spray your sponge really well. Spray your one stroke really, really well, okay? And work it in there. Before you touch skin, if you feel like it's too dry, you can always spray more water. You just can't spray more water whenever it's actually touched the skin. So if it feels too dry, go ahead and load your sponge as well as you can, and then go in there and you can sponge however you want to sponge.
Yeah.
Do a rainbow, something, blah, 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 you know.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of product that I just got off. Like I mean,
yeah, that is.
Will go a long way if you load it nice. Okay, that's at least 2 faces, I feel like.
I think this is the first webinar I've done in weeks where no one has asked what paint that is. Because it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
So,
So one question came up. Let me see if I missed it. In terms of laws about when we are legally allowed to open up, I have no idea. It really depends on your location. I don't even know where to find that out. Disinfecting colored powders, someone asked.
Colored powders, you can't really disinfect them. You can clean the top of it off, but you can't really disinfect it.
Right.
Like I said, you can always go in there with the 70% alcohol, spray it down really, really good. But you can go in and use the same technique, this one-way technique, without cross-contaminating your if you're using, what are they, a lollipop into your dry powder, let's say you're using Star Blend, you can get a lot of good powder on that lollipop, and you can go ahead and do it. And lollipops are relatively inexpensive. So if you need a few lollipops and that's what your design board calls for, have a whole, like, hundreds of lollipops, and you can wash them afterwards.
And we sell those on FacePaintcom too.
Wink, wink. Yeah, I would say the more lollipops you have, if you're doing powders, the better. And just don't go back into your dry container with the lollipop that you just used on someone's skin. Like, really load that lollipop up and then use it on someone's skin, and then whatever you want to do with it. To finish with this, I also have a paper towel to clean the skin prior, and then if you wanted to, you can have some Q-tips, unless you do little boo-boos. So that's like, I would make these for like at least 100 if you have a big event. Have these, and then each time you get a new kid, you don't have to worry about it. You just like get out a new little package. Okay. So, you've painted the kid's face. You have that down. Okay. They're happy. La-di-da-di-da. I did not go in here with a dirty implement, not once. The kid didn't cough on this, so I don't necessarily have to re-clean it again because, there was nothing going on. Okay. Can you see me?
No, your video just went off. Or
okay.
I don't know what happened.
Then what you can do is you can put it back into your kit, because again, the kid didn't cough on this. I didn't cross-contaminate because I used this only once. Put your product on, okay, and then get your disinfectant and go in there and spray everything. Or you can use a wipe, like a disinfecting wipe. Those are really, really good because you can just pull them out, spray everything, and then, wipe down everything too. The disinfecting wipes, generally they clean in 2 minutes. So this is between your client, and I'm wiping down the outside of my kit. Okay, that's important. You want to wipe down the outside of your containers that you just used. Wipe down the table, you know.
What do you think of bleach water?
For what circumstance?
To clean instead of soap water, I guess.
If you wanted to spray down with bleach water, if your paints are up, then I have no problem with that because that's a disinfectant, but it has to stay on there for 10 minutes.
Right.
So, yeah.
Also, what about a thermometer? Do you walk in with a thermometer to test the kids?
No. And the reason why I wouldn't get a thermometer is because 60% of people don't have symptoms to anything. Like they might have COVID-19, but they're not showing any symptoms. So checking each person if they have a fever, it really doesn't do much because they could still have COVID-19 and not know it just because 60% of people that tested.
So we got like 10 minutes left. So I just wanted to hit this. So we painted all our kits. We prepared our kits. We laid out our water bottles, our buckets. We've cleaned everything. So we're good. And everything's fine. Now we got home and we got our stuff. Now, how do we clean our kits so we prepare for the next day?
Okay. So what I like to have when I'm painting is I like to have little containers on my table. So this one says trash. So of course, all those things that I wiped with earlier, I can throw them in the trash. Okay. So that's on my table for trash. And then my dirty stuff, like my sponge, my brush, I can throw my dirty stuff in here. So I know that these are things that I need to clean at the end of the day. The trash, you throw it out, but you could also have a trash can near your feet if you wanted to do it that way. It's completely up to you. Okay. And you want to have a little station for disinfecting things. So during the day, if you're using like a sponge on someone's face, a stencil on someone's face, you want to clean these with 70% alcohol in between of each kid that you're doing it on. Okay, so make sure you clean those. But once you're ready to be home and you want to properly disinfect it, you can stick these into the disinfectant bin. So you can have this. And
then in the disinfectant bin, you put alcohol, right?
You could put bleach water and read the back of the bleach container, and it will tell you what bleach water that you should put in there. You can also have barbicide if you wanted to disinfect with barbicide. Again, you could use disinfection for barbicide to clean the top of your table off, or you could use it, at the end of the day if you want to disinfect your stencils, because these are non-porous, so you could stick them in there. Okay. When you're ready to wash your brushes, you can actually wash these really, really good with soap and water. So you can, you already have these pretty much clean. You can get that soap and really get down and dirty and cleaning them, and then you can do is, if you really want to clean them very nice, get a, go to your oven, get a pot, fill it with water, let it boil, and once it gets to the boil, stick only the hairs inside of the boiling water and let it sit there for about 3 minutes. You can do that. You're really going to get it nice and clean if you let it sit there. And you can also disinfect the end. So you're not going to disinfect the brush, but you could immerse it in the disinfectant. Or you could spray it with a disinfection. You could spray it and let it sit there for 10 minutes and disinfect your your handle of your brush. For your sponges, these are super easy if you're cleaning these. Take them, stick them in your washing machine, put some soap in there or laundry detergent, let them go a full cycle. Then once they're dry, stick them in your dryer, put it on a high heat setting, and let it run in there until it gets, nice and dry for the sponges. I like a high density sponge because they don't break down as fast. So when you stick your sponge in the washing machine, that's going to wash your sponges for you, but you'll get really close to disinfecting your sponges whenever you have that heat of the dryer and it gets really super hot. So you'll get really close to disinfecting your sponges by doing it that way as well.
Okay. A couple questions came in. What
Okay.
about glitter gels?
Glitter gels. What do you mean? Like how to put them on?
Yeah, I think it goes, you would use either brush or an applicator for that, right? I mean,
Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to use, you know, you could get a popsicle stick, break them in half, scoop it up, and then put them on that way. As long as you're washing your hands in between of each child, you should be fine. You could also use gloves, but just be aware if you're using gloves, try not to use latex because a lot of people have latex allergies.
okay. That was the question that Olga asked was, how do we go as far as wearing gloves?
You could if you wanted to. I would say either wear gloves between each child. If you do not have gloves, wash your hands. You know, again, I like my soapy water method because I can just go here and like wash my hands right there without having water, you know.
Frankly, your hands are probably covered in face paint anyway. So there you go.
They are. So
Yeah.
just wash in between of each, you know, person when you're doing it, and then have some water that you can spray, or you have it like in a little pump or something, and use it to rinse your hands in between of each client, you know. And again, 20 seconds to wash your hands, 20 seconds to cleanse that area in between of each child prior to painting your face.
Tina asked, won't a dishwasher clean and disinfect brushes and sponges?
I mean, they could, depending on how hot the heat setting is. I'm going to be honest, I don't have a washing machine. You might be able to. You could look at the heat setting for your dishwasher. I don't recommend it for your brushes because I know that it squirts water up, and you know you want to keep your brush kind of tapered and nice, because if your brush dries and it's not nice and tapered, then your brush can be frayed at the end of the day. So to take care of your brushes, you want to try to keep a really nice to them. Your sponges, if it gets hot enough, I would say so, but then you have like possibly getting, you know, I would say rinse your sponges first prior to putting them in the dishwasher if you do want to put them in the dishwasher, and see how hot your dishwasher gets, because if it gets to like 140 or 150 degrees Fahrenheit, then it'll be hot enough to kill some bacteria.
Right. You know, this is a good question. Brenda asked, you know, you're doing all this stuff, you're laying out your stuff, you're cleaning everything between kids. How much does that slow you down?
I mean, depending on what you're doing, it doesn't slow you down that much because I'm consistently doing it like almost every single day, cleaning in between of each client. So if you get like a good, you know, routine going, and like I said, I like this method because once you do it, you can throw them in these containers and then you can spray down your area.
I really do like that method of just creating individual packages. Yeah.
Yes. And then once you have, you know, your dirty in the dirty bin, your trash in the trash bin, you can go in there and spray down your area, you know, get a paper towel and or have a wet wipe. Like I said, those are really good, you know, wipe it down with a wet wipe. And then during that time that wet wipe, or you're letting that disinfection happen, that kill time, you can start washing your hands, you know, getting that done. So in between of each person, it takes 20 seconds, you know, 10 minutes to fully kill time in between. But if you're using a wet wipe, 2 minutes, I would say in between of each child, it would be 2 to 3 minutes before you get the next one.
So charge more.
Yeah, you could totally charge more.
You know, extra stuff for safety, etc. I think that's great.
Yes. Yes. I totally think that it's worth it, especially in today's time. Yeah.
Tina said there's silicone pouches that snap together that can maintain the integrity of brushes. Do you know anything about this?
Silicone pouches no, I would like to see that. But silicone is a non-porous material, so you could probably disinfect it. Plus silicone can really take a high temperature of a product. So a lot of silicone, let's say a lot of dishware that you see that's kind of rubbery in nature is made out of silicone because it can take a high heat setting of the temperature. It might work. I don't know. I haven't seen what she's saying.
Oh, she's talking about it for dishwashers. You could put it. I don't. Okay.
I haven't. Again, I don't have a dishwasher. Maybe I should look into this.
Maybe you need a dishwasher. I think is really the point. You know, it's just easier. You just stick the things in. You put the thing in. It works like a charm. Well, you know, time has flown by. Absolutely flown by. I got a feeling we could have done this for another hour, but sadly, I've got to drink heavily. There it is. Really. Oh, one last question. I think this is a good one. Any recommendations for social distancing in line?
Yes, totally. Okay, so what I would recommend is, you know, get either a piece of tape or get you know, some bars or something. Oh, you could even use hula hoops. Hula hoops would be great. Put hula hoops like 6 feet apart from each other. I would say keep about 3 hula hoops there. Okay. And what you can do is there is a app and it's called Waitlist. And you can actually download that app on your phone. And it's actually made for the restaurant industry. Well, what you would do is you could put down their phone number and their name. It will send them an email, or not an email, it will send them a text message to tell them that they are registered onto your wait list. You can do a person and then click next. It will, once you click next on the wait list app, it will send a text message to your next client. You can click next on about 3 to 4 clients and have them waiting in line.
And what's this app called?
Waitlist.
Okay.
Yeah, it's made by the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's if you have a booth babe, they could take names and then you can click next. They could click next and have 5 people waiting in line, and then you can get through them that way without having too many people crammed up in line. Plus, it's a great app because the people that have kids that don't necessarily want to stand in line with like 4-year-olds, they can go out and like, you know, chill and do whatever they want, drink their sippies or something, and then they get a notification to stand in line. So they don't have to stand in line as much because there's going to be 3 or 4 people in line at the most.
That is a great idea. This has been really helpful, Tiffany. This has been great. And you should, what's the URL for your course in case anybody wants to see all 3.5 hours?
So if you want to see the course, it's completely free. I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart because I want to make sure that you guys are educated in cross-contamination. What you would do is you would go to the online Facebook group, Be Ready Face and Body Painters Infection Control. And once
it's called, Be Ready Face. Okay, let me find it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called Be Ready Face and Body Painters?
Yeah, body Painters Infection Control.
Body Painters.
Yeah, it's a group on Facebook.
Yeah, got it.
Yes. So go there, go to the videos in popular topics and scroll down. You'll see the class A or class 1 and class 2. You can go ahead and click on those. And then in the comment section on class 2, you'll have the test. You can take the test. And then after you take the test, I can give you a certificate of achievement for watching those 2 videos and being educated. And then I also have some printouts that you can print them out, laminate them, and then put them by your station to make it easier for you.
Awesome. So thank you very much. We got a couple webinars coming up next week. We got 2, oddly enough. We have Frida Haas, Dress It Up with Tribals. We have, we're doing a balloon decor webinar with Balloon Josh on Clown Annex on Wednesday.
That one.
Then, what?
I said I might take that one. I don't have good balloon skills.
Well, Balloon Josh is a nut on balloons. He's great. And then we're going to have Nadine Davidson doing fast and fabulous bling designs. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. You can obviously find Tiffany. I put her link for her group there. So if you have any other questions for her, please PM her or whatever. And thank you very much. This was terrific.
You're welcome. I hope you guys learned a lot and you feel safer whenever you start going back to work.
Okay. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You. Bye.
Bye-bye.